We sent Christina Partsinevelos to Austin, Texas for more on Amazon's own chip building aspirations. Christina?
Well, it's not only about high costs, it's also about short supply that is causing so many big tech companies to really focus on building custom chips in-house, from Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, or AWS, I should say. Even OpenAI is considering it. And of course, to reduce their reliance on NVIDIA chips. That's why I came to this lab, Annapurna Labs, where you can see everybody's working diligently. They've been working on their chips for the last 11 years, including the one I'm holding in my hand. This is a chip used for inferencing on an inferencing board, Inferentia. And the thing with Amazon is, or AWS, is they're still building all of these chips, working diligently, but at the same time, they need to maintain their partnership with NVIDIA. Listen in.
It also means bringing the very best Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, whatever the partner might be, to AWS for customer workloads that might need those chips. And so, it's really not just an approach that says, hey, we want to get everything onto our own silicon. It's really an approach that says we want to give customers the best choice.
The best choice, and obviously the cheaper alternative, because it's always about giving their customers the best of both worlds. The problem is competition from NVIDIA is fierce, not only NVIDIA, AMD, et cetera, and it's really not easy to compete. That's why labs like this have been around for at least 11 years. And I say that, and I think of an example. Steve was just talking about Apple. Apple, for example, there's just 6 researchers, roughly from 6 different universities yesterday, that published a report saying that there are security flaws now in Apple's chips that are used in the M1, the M2, and the M3 used for a lot of MacBooks. And these security flaws reveal encryption keys, secret encryption keys. So that's not a good thing. Another separate story with Apple is that they tried to get their smartphone chip off the ground, but were unable to do so in time. So then they had to sign up with Qualcomm for another 3 years. Microsoft, for example, they have launched, finally, after years of production, their first, or I should say, set of 2 AI custom chips in-house. And it takes some time. For companies like AWS and all these lovely people around me, they're spending billions of dollars to plan their future destiny so that it's not as reliant on NVIDIA. But for now, there is a balancing act of being NVIDIA customers and competitors, guys.
So, Christina, the media industry used to call this being frenemies. They have to maintain their relationship. They have to buy those chips and also are trying to create alternative rival products. My question, Christina, is given what you're seeing there about the variety of chips and also the volume they're able to create, when will we see these tech giants be able to create enough of their own chips to not rely on the likes of NVIDIA?
Well, specifically for AWS, they are able to offer these chips to their AWS customers and say, okay, you can either go the NVIDIA route or you can go the AWS route. I guess the strength that NVIDIA has right now is the developer software that's a part of that ecosystem. And often what Jensen Huang, the CEO, will talk about, he'll say, oh, everybody uses CUDA. There's over 4 million developers around the world that are using that software. And so it makes it a little bit more difficult to switch over completely to a competitor. But that's something that all of these big, AWS is known for the cloud, known for all their products, so they are working on it. And they argue that they can offer it at a cheaper price. So if you're willing to switch away from certain software and then go for the cheaper, maybe more power-efficient option, it could be a win for customers, especially when you're thinking of these GPUs that you're factoring in costs anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000 per chip. And that's a chip not including the entire board that has thousands and thousands of pieces and all this intricate. Look at how tiny. He's using tweezers. I was going to say toothpicks, tweezers right now. So clearly it requires a lot of effort and skill.
So CEOs and CFOs and boards are paid to make these kinds of decisions. But I can only imagine that the capital expenditures required here for companies like Amazon or Microsoft or Apple to build its own chips, to build their own factories to make those chips, or to buy or lease capacity from captive suppliers, has got to be vast. Do you have any idea what the capital outlays are when a company wants to do this
Tyler,
and unhitch?
I asked this question twice, and although the AWS team is so helpful and friendly, they would not give me an actual amount on how much they're spending per year on specifically building in-house chips, which are then manufactured elsewhere, most likely TSMC. But if we're going to give a ballpark figure, remember OpenAI and Sam Altman talking about, localizing it, bringing chips into America, building there, creating a foundation, and then he had put a price tag of $7 billion. Obviously, billion is quite a bit, but that just puts into perspective how much money a lot of these companies have to spend over years. And I say years. Over 11 years here, Microsoft has been working on their chips for also like over 5-6 years on their custom AI chips, and yet they've only recently launched them this year. Meta falls into that category too. It's just not easy to do. And eventually the money's going to run out and they're going to realize, okay, we either let the chip companies do it or we decide, okay, we're doing a good enough job, or we go and acquire a smaller chip company, which was actually the case for this particular lab years ago.
All right, Christina, thanks very much. Christina Partsinevelos in Austin today.